Hey everyone, John Newman here. Thank you for downloading this episode of Card Mensches. Myself and Danny Black of Hobby News Daily would like to remind you this is a live show every other Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It can be found on most of our social medias. Danny's at sportsbalt and Hobby News Daily. I am Sports Card Nation Podcast. And it can be found on our YouTube channels. At Hobby News Daily, Sports Card Nation Podcast, at Sportsbalt, and at Card Mensches. So with that being said, we hope to see you very soon on a Friday night in our very active chat room. Now let's start the show.
Experience, quality, consistency, and the quickest turnaround times in the grading industry? We are proud to partner with SGC Grading. Check them out at www.gosgc.com.
Hi, I'm Isaac Alpert, a longtime card collector and the co-founder of the Penny Sleeve. My wife and I started the Penny Sleeve with a simple premise in mind: to offer collectors top quality supplies at fair prices. We offer a full range of hobby supplies, and we'll get them to you fast. Whether you're looking for a 260-point magnetic for that oversized patch card, or a slew of semi-rigid for your next PSA submission, the Penny Sleever has you covered. Shop now at thepennysleever.com and use the promo code SCNation to get 10% off your first order. That's SCNation for 10% off at thepennysleever.com. The Penny Sleever, top quality supplies, fair prices.
Hi, I'm Danny Black.
And I'm John Newman.
Welcome to Card Mensches. Well, hello. Welcome to Card Mensches. Big time, as Ruben said, we have a new ad. Welcome Penny Sleever to the Card Mensches family. And welcome John Newman. I think you're half of this, aren't you?
Yeah, but I'm old, so Penny Sleever's new, I'm old. Just my name's Newman, as I tell kids in my classes.
Well, that's how we got Penny Sleever. We promised that we would let you model every episode. It cost us half the money though. So, buddy, 51 episodes.
Area 51.
Every week.
I gotta come up with some kind of joke to the episode number, right? So. Right. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And like you said, I know we've talked about this before, over 3 calendar years, but the second year of doing it, because this is every other week. That would be 52, I guess, technically, will be a year. But thank you, Hodges. But
yeah, just going through Hodges, Steven, Orlando, Stooks, Ruben again. Want to do a little bit of house cleaning, a little behind the scenes, I should say. You and I have been crossing paths. I think it's been almost 2 weeks since we've really sat down for an hour. So
yeah, man. Well, you're busy with SI Collects and other things. Obviously, that's not the only thing you do. There's something else called Hobby News Daily.
Yeah,
and cards and family and medical procedures and all that stuff that I try to avoid when I shouldn't, probably, but
yes. For all of you that want to know my dedication to the show, I had my morning was spent passed out getting a colonoscopy, and my evening spent taking it in the rear at Card Mensches. So,
full circle.
Yep, it's a full circle day. But if you're older than 45. I know. So we got an interesting topic tonight. It's one we've talked about kind of like when we shop for cards, or we've talked about cards in the past. There's one player specifically, you've made the comment to me several times that you would wish this player had a certain type of card. It is cards that were never made or cards that we think should have been made. Barry, thank you very much.
And there's a comment up from Jeff's card journey. He came home from the hospital. Just hope everything is okay and he's doing well. So
Jeff, I'm sorry you're stuck with us, but I hope you're better.
Yeah, take two of us and call. The doctor said take 2 of them and call them in the morning.
I hope you're okay, Stooks. Okay. He had a comment also. Ruben says, so seeing the title of tonight's show, here's my list of never made cards. 55 Bowman Clemente and Koufax. 54 Bowman, Aaron, and Banks. 83 Topps traded Mattingly. We're off to a flying start here. We haven't even given our list. That's why
and I got to say, that might be better than what's on my list.
That's a great list. You want to comment on any of those cards?
Yeah, it's funny you don't think about something until someone else, and Ruben really hits them out of the park there for sure. Like, I know there's not a 1955 Bowman Koufax, but I didn't remember that till reading Ruben's comment. Like, but I didn't think about it until it's like in front of your eyes, and you're like, damn it, I forgot to write that one down. So that's the beauty of these kind of shows and being interactive is, be like, man, I missed that one. It actually can make you feel bad. Like, hey, I really dropped the ball on my list. But okay.
Yep. Since you started with Jeff, I'll let you finish.
Well, he said, it was his wife and that we looked better than today's nurses. Must have been a bad day at the hospital. That's
I was about to say I wouldn't trust that staff.
He had apparently it was Helga and Olga.
Right.
We're on the nurse rotation.
Hodges says 53 Topps Ted Williams. Well, that might cross over into one of mine.
Yeah.
Orlando hits the nail on the head. We're going to hit some of these bigger categories, Orlando. Yeah. He says, for the audio version, I just want to read it. Wish they printed Negro League players playing day cards in the U.S. All or foreign issue. That's a rabbit hole that could be a couple episodes in its own.
And some of these Topps in like their current products or their ultra have done some of these cards, like have made them like cards that never were. I don't count that. Like I'm talking about year of when the set was. So
Yep.
So their Topps made like a 1953 Williams designed card in like a product as an insert or a parallel, or I think they did a series called. It was called Cards That Never Were. That doesn't count. We're talking about what should have been at the time of release, not after. Not.
We're not taking current players and putting them in old sets either.
Yeah. So that little disclaimer, if you will.
Also, Ruben, I did not tie the back, so enjoy that. Okay,
that's how they say. I just want to say about the Danny Black game used hospital gown. People like when they get game used cards, they like the multiple colors or has dirt on it or sometimes blood on like the football ones. Not in this case. Like if you get the Danny Black, hospital issued gown, you don't want any foreign substance.
I'm a wonderful patient. I got no complaints. I gave out a customer service, form, and I got 5 stars from everybody there. You want to start?
Yeah, let's start with one we just kind of talked about, right? Scratch and sniff patches. Orlando says.
I can't believe you started this. I saw where this was headed. I'm trying to steer the Titanic.
Well, listen, this is what the show's all about. It's more than just cardboard.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So, we talked about the Williams, right? He doesn't have a 52 Topps either. So we can kind of lump them in there, right? 52 and 53. Topps Ted Williams. Now, this list can be long with the card wars and the contract battles, but it's fun to talk about. It doesn't mean we can't talk about it, right?
Can I say that we can group Ted Williams as a category because you've got the late 50s issues, also. I don't know how many people count the Fleer issue as real exciting, or a full set.
It's funny you mentioned that the Fleer, the Ted Williams basically set.
Yeah.
Either 57 cards or 60. I just had a gentleman on this last SGC bulk sub, not the whole set, but probably 2/3 of it, which he has the whole set, but he graded like the ones he thought were the best shaped ones. He did pretty well. I mean, with the exception of a card here and there, he had some 7s and 8s and 8.5s, and that's pretty good when you think about a set that's 85 years old now. Or wait, let me do some math. 65 years old, right? That's getting an 8.5. You know, that's I mean, not all of them, but he did get a couple 8.5s, a couple 8s, so he did pretty well. I thought that was kind of neat to see. Also, shameless plug, Danny. Here's a card that was made. I left it out. Going back in my save. This is not my card. I wish it was my card, but this was subbed on the last SGC bulk sub I did. Came in the glare on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
The 2. I have permission from the owner of the card to use it for social media purposes. But there you go. Really cool. You know, even just holding the card, even though it's not mine. You know, I told the guy I said the card, "You're lucky I'm an honest guy because I might have left town." But I will say this: I won't say the number. You can look it up on the website. There was an upcharge on that card.
You think?
So, yeah,
John,
don't get me started.
Under upcharge, they have a picture of that card.
Yeah,
on the
I don't care. I love SGC. I hate upcharges, and I've had these guys on Sports Card Nation. We've talked about it, so we're not gonna go off on. Let me just say, you know, I did a whole show almost on upcharges, so it's out there.
All right. While you were talking about upcharges, the chat room is now bidding on that mantle.
Yeah, I actually found out. I didn't ask, but the person told me what they have into it, and he was hoping for a slightly higher than a 2.
Ruben is bidding 69.69. Clearly, it's a heads up and down decision.
No, that's because there was Manos last year.
Sure. Okay. So who went? Was that me on Ted Williams?
I threw out the Williams.
Okay. I'm gonna throw out in general multiplayer cards for their role. Did I lose you?
No, I'm hoping I'm back.
No, I think that was me. Hall of Fame rookie cards where it's not single player. I like single player rookie cards for Hall of Famers. And you know, you and I were just throwing out a couple, but Molitor, Trammell, Rose, Ryan, Seaver, whoever else. I'd love to see the chat room throw out names. Guys you wish had a single Topps or Bowman card for their rookie card. I'll throw Cal Ripken in there. I know he's got the 82 Topps traded, and you know I got to throw that out there. And I actually like the Topps traded look. But Jeff Schneider and Bob Bonner on his rookie card to me does not add any value. Yes, Jerry Kuzman deserved a solo rookie card.
You know, we can make a blanket statement and say any multiple Hall of Fame rookie card, it's too bad that person wasn't on his individual. Tim Raines is on a trip. Yeah, there's a lot. You know, so we almost can blanket statement it with that. I wrote on my list, I actually have Rose, Ryan, Seaver, bench. And, you know, in some of these cases, Danny, as you well know, and the chat room well knows, there's certain population of the hobby that, like, there's people who think the 69 bench is his rookie card. There's people who think, you know, the 68 Seaver with the gold cup is a rookie card. You know, not a lot of people, there are certain people who think the 64 Topps Rose is his rookie card. Now, they're great second-year cards, and those have value, especially in high grades as well, but they're not the rookie cards, right? Just as many people confuse the 52 Topps Bowman or 52 Topps card with the 51 Bowman Mantle, right? I don't know how many professional articles I've read that said, you know, Mickey Mantle's 1952 Topps rookie card. Like, no, you know, so, yeah. And others know what I'm talking about. So a lot of those second year cards kind of get mistaken for a rookie card. So it would have been nice if they would have, if they would have had a solo rookie.
I'm gonna put a link in the group chat. Somebody wrote an article on the '89 Upper Deck Griffey not being a true rookie.
Yeah, I'm not buying that.
I didn't say you had to buy it. I just thought I thought it was an interesting conversation. Okay, so is it your turn now?
Yeah, I think you mentioned the multi. I'll
listen to any players here. Murray Wills. Okay.
Yeah, you want. Yeah, they don't. Again, they don't have to be Hall of Famer. You could just say, "Hey, I don't like rookie cards that have more than one guy on them." You can just say that. There's people who do like that, and then you get one like the Molitor and Trammell. I think is really cool because they're both Hall of Famers. How many of those? You know what I mean? That might be a topic for the best multi-rookie cards with like talent-wise. The Molitor and Trammell.
You don't think it brings it down having the other two guys on there?
It probably does, but I'm saying how many multi-rookie cards have two Hall of Famers? Like Kuzman and Ryan are good. Like Kuzman was good, but he's not a Hall of Famer. Well, imagine if Kuzman was Seaver. Let's say that was Seaver and Ryan on the same rookie. Imagine, I know they're not in the same year, but what if it was? You know what I mean? Like, how crazy would have that card been? Ichiro Pujols, which is on one of my targets to acquire, is those Ichiro Pujols rookie.
Yep, and a couple people throwing that out. Larry, it's never too late. So I think we agree. Single Hall of Famers who appear on multiplayer cards, no bueno for us, and call that a category.
Yeah, I don't hate them. But listen, I'd rather see a single version of that player's, as most people. I think that's the consensus.
Warren, I feel sorry.
That's a line I use.
Yes.
The last thing that I use that in different scenarios. Not at school though. Although there was a few times like it was almost came out, and I stopped it at the border. Let's just put it that way. So.
Yep. the Black Newman dual rookie auto. Yeah. And actually, the only company that will continue.
That's a card you don't want as a dual. You don't want it as a single.
There's only one company that grades it now is HGA. Oh wait, they went out of it. Yeah. All right. Your turn.
All right. This isn't really a year. It's just. The 53 top Satchel Paige, which is an iconic card. It would have been nice but it was he didn't pitch a ton more in the majors. He was a late getting there because of the Negro League, so it kind of ties in the league. It would have been nice to see an earlier Satchel Paige, more mainstream type card. So, that's. I just kind of grew. I just kind of said a player rather than a year. But even on that 53 tops, even on the 50, he looks like an old guy, which he was at the time. He was in his mid 40s, I believe, when that photo was used. So it would have been nice to get,
Reed Stukes' comment would have been.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It would have been nice to have, and those are great sets, obviously. So to have a player of that ilk on those kind of iconic sets. I mean, imagine what that card would go for if it really exists. Not that it's about value, but that's part of the cards, You can't not talk about it and act like it doesn't matter at all.
Well, real quick, I threw this in the chat room. Do you think more rookie cards would be worth, or do you think rookie cards would be worth more if they were single player versus multiplayer? Do you think Nolan Ryan would sell for more?
You asking me, or are you asking the chat room, or both?
Well, I asked the chat room and they didn't answer, so I'm asking you because I'm curious.
Oh yeah, I think so. Because especially if the other player. I mean, some of these times, this, man. Some of the times the other player who's on the card, not in like the Ryan Kuzman's case, are guys that never even really their stats are minimal, if anything at all. They pan out whatsoever. So they still have value, obviously. I mean, I just bought a Seaver rookie at the last National. Then, it wasn't super cheap because, Dennehy's on there, but I think there would be a little more because, just because that's the player. That's the player. I think a bad player. I don't want to say bad. To make the major leagues, you got to have talent. A not significant player, I think, does drag it down. Not a ton. Not a ton. You're buying the rookie card of the Hall of Famer. Just the other guy happens to be along for the ride, or other guys are sort of along for the ride. So.
Yep. All right. I was just curious about that. All right. Sorry. Where were we before I re-interrupted our mid-up show?
Well, I just said Satchel Paige, like an earlier,
yeah.
whatever, I just kind of blanket statement, like just an earlier than the 53 top, and I think it was Stooks that said, the Gowdy or the play ball, someone else mentioned DeLong. So, it would have been cool to have an earlier mainstream Satchel. Nothing against the 53 tops, which is one of the most aesthetically pleasing looking cards, quite frankly.
Can we talk about, if we're talking about playing day cards, can we talk about Babe Ruth? I mean,
no.
All right, moving on. No. For Babe freaking Ruth, could he have less cards for the greatest player ever? For the Paul Bunyan of our sport?
You're saying he should have more cards by himself? Is that
more cards by himself, more playing day cards? And I know that it has to do with what was produced during his career. I know I'm making this up, but I wish there was something, in color with the Red Sox or the Yankees, something before the Gowdy four color.
That's a good question.
Of the mainstream set, not a strip card.
Why do you have a theory as to why that's the case, or not necessarily?
There wasn't a national distribution of mainstream sets. It was the strip card era.
Yeah,
and unfortunately, same thing. With a lot of the early guys, if they weren't in the tobacco sets, there's very little. I'm not knocking the exhibits, but not my personal thing.
Yeah, because listen, I used to hate the exhibit, and then I warmed up to, and I do like them now. Though the only problem is, it's hard to tell when they were made. There's nothing on the backs. Well, some of them there are, but they almost look like box bottom cards. They're not, but I used to hate the exhibits, and the older I get, I like them more and more each. So.
There you go. How about a Murderer's Row card? That would rock. If they did it like the Sluggers, in 57. So I just Stu's killing me. I can give you a checklist of years from 39 to 66.
Yeah. No, there's
absolutely.
When I first got in the hobby as a younger kid and then younger adult, and I heard about strip cards, and then true story. Then I found out really what they meant when they were talking about strip cards. I initially was kind of disappointed. I was expecting something else. I was expecting fastball, and I got the curve. But then I learned how to hit the curve, and then I liked strip cards, what they actually were.
I like strip cards, and I cannot lie. I actually do, but for Ruth, I just think Ruth deserves a more classic card. There should.
He does have some. It's not.
I got a poster of one over there, but it's not the same.
No, I agree.
I stand by that, and it's Babe freaking Ruth. So I just think it's.
But you are from Baltimore, so
yeah. As much as I'd like to think he's associated with Baltimore, it's New York. Anyway.
Yeah, how about like Ruth? Someone did it on one of the message boards years ago. I think they made like a Ruth Gehrig double, the double header cards, like long. It was cool looking. The way they did it was sharp. But like, can you imagine something like that was legit?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I'd love to see it. All right, your turn.
All right, someone mentioned this, so I can't remember who, so you have to give yourself credit. But we talked about the Negro Leaguers, and because they weren't, allowed into Major League Baseball. Josh Gibson, right? Arguably, maybe the greatest catcher to ever play the position. Never made it, to the big leagues itself. And not just catchers, just talked about as one of the greats of baseball, period. Not even position related. There's some that will tell you who played with him or against Babe Ruth that he was better than Babe Ruth. It would have been nice to have like a 1933, Sport Kings, Josh Gibson or Gowdy, or play ball something. I know he has that what's that Cuban? I'm probably saying the name wrong. I don't have it. It's crazy money. I'll probably never own it. Would love Talesteros or something along those lines. So, but a mainstream like a Topps or a Bowman or a Gowdy or just think about a card like that, right? I mean, look, even the Cuban card that produces crazy money. Just imagine.
Stooks agrees with you and says any playing day cards.
Yeah. No, I for sure, and just because he's looked at sort of in the same breath as a Babe. Yep. So, it would have been nice, and then with the recent decision by the Hall of Fame in baseball to include those stats as major league ones, even all the more so because he's now the record holder or close to the record holder in a lot of offensive categories. So, starting to get, too late in a way, but starting to get credit that probably should.
Mookie, great comment. Josh Gibson was 35 when he died in 1947, 4 months before Jackie broke in. If he had lived a few more years, we may have had a playing day card. Can you imagine, if he had lived, he might have broken the color barrier, not Jackie.
He was, when that list, when I think it was, when Branch Rickey was making that list of who was it going to be, right? He was on there. And if you read into it, I mean, he was just sort of a fiery guy. The reason why, listen, I'll be honest, I love Jackie Robinson, as most people know, but he wasn't necessarily the best player on the list. He was the best person to handle what was going to come his way, and that's where that decision came in. So if history serves me right, Josh Gibson was on that list. They just knew that he wasn't going to be able to hear what he would hear and last and not respond. And look, it was tough for Jackie too, but that's why he's an icon, is because he was able to do that and be successful and be a Hall of Famer on the field. So there was just other guys they knew like it wasn't going to work at that time, and so.
I'm going to piggyback on that and just say any Negro League card set would have been fantastic. Star after star, Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. Dylan didn't all the players want Irvin to be the first. A lot of them thought he would have been the best representation for the league.
The list Branch Rickey probably had 5 to 8 names on it. So besides Jackie, there was 6 to 7 other names, and
obviously Larry Doby.
Yeah, they just by process of elimination to their criteria. You know what I mean? So it was all subjective and opinionated. Like these other guys won't be able to take that sort of abuse and not react or respond or climb into the stands or run, after another player, and deservedly so. But they just didn't want, if this was going to happen, they had to be a successful. That would have set back integration more years if it didn't work out the way it did.
Stooks, I did not know that. That's that some of the exhibits have players in Negro League uniforms that were airbrushed out.
Yeah, the Jackie exhibit.
Well, that one I knew had been
the Jackie exhibit's from his Monarchs playing days, and just like Stuke said, it doesn't say Monarchs, but you can people who know can tell by looking at the card that that's not during the Brooklyn Dodger day. So it was pre Brooklyn.
And the Derby.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Is it my turn or your turn?
I think it's your turn. I mentioned Josh Gibson.
Okay. I thought that Stu said Jackie's from Montreal. That was a AAA team. It was edited from. Okay. My next one, I think, would have saved the junk wax era. What if autograph inserts would have started before the early 90s. I wish there would have been autograph inserts during junk wax. We lost a generation of players after vintage, before the 90s or the 2000s, where there just were not inserts of autographs. And if you're going to have overproduction, and I don't believe in fake, limited, editions and everything else, just throw some autographs in there. Would have been amazing to have Gwen and Puckett and some of these guys now to look back and know that they would have had set issued autos, and it would still save. I think it would have saved the value of the junk wax era.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight being 2020. By the way, I didn't know that.
I'm calling it the 80s probably more than the 90s.
Montreal Royals. I had Montreal. I said Monarchs. I was thinking Montreal, but yes, slip of the tongue.
Yeah,
as Monica Lewinsky used to say.
Yeah, once again, I wanted the Sammy Stewart auto just for the mustache. No, I'm talking more 80s, not 90s when I say that. And because to me, that would have been amazing. What if the Upper Deck Griffey one had impact autos mixed in? What would those go for?
That's crazy.
Anyway, so I think that would have saved junk wax. That's my idea to have saved junk wax.
Yeah, that Gwynn did have some autos during his playing
career.
days. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if you would have had him 81,
like
82,
earlier, saying
81, 82, 83, 84, the early 80s. I don't need to sell the year. All right, what you got?
All right, I'm going to put kind of two together, and just for the sake of time, right? We can do this with a lot of guys, right? Joe DiMaggio cards from 1950 to 52. Mickey Mantle, no 1954 and 55 Topps cards. So there was 50s cards with the whole that contracts and the war and stuff. Guys were not always in every set. You had to find out what set your favorite player was in. Stan Musial, same thing. A lot of the stars. Mantle and DiMaggio, mid 50s for Mantle, earlier 50s for DiMaggio. I think DiMaggio's last card is like a Burke Ross. I think that's 52, playing days or year after where the stats are on there. Is that 52 Burke Ross, but he doesn't have Topps or Bowman in the 50s. And his last year playing was 1951. So it wasn't like he retired in 48 or 49. So it would have been nice to see a few more mainstream DiMaggios at the end. Mantle at the beginning, no 54 or 55 Topps card. So I know that's two different guys, but they're both on the Yankees. So I'll just, for the sake of time too, we'll just say 1 and 1A and put them together.
And I'll take DiMaggio and Monroe over Kelsey and Swift.
Yeah, I don't know. Who lasts longer might be a better question.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. I have, and this is going to be no surprise, Moberg played from 1923 through 1939, and he has 4 cards.
Yeah, he entered my train of thought. He didn't make my list, but I can't argue with. He did play, like you said, those years. He just wasn't a great player. Did get hurt, which kind of hurt his star potential. Known for more, as you well know, and most people known for more of the stuff off the field of play. And I think that's why, obviously, right? Had he been a guy that hit 20, 30 home runs back then a year.
But that's crazy. He played 16, 17 years and 4 cards.
No, he definitely should have more cards. I'm not here to argue that. If you play that many years, some of the guys they did make, you know what I mean? They're definitely head scratchers. So the fact that he doesn't have more cards, I won't argue. I just think he didn't help his case with stats, on the.
And Dylan saying more Musial would have been awesome.
Yeah.
Stan Musial had the exact same amount of hits at home and away. One of my favorites.
That's called consistency.
Yep. How about Patrick Mahomes in a Tigers uniform?
Yeah,
well, how many guys could you do that? They did Brady in the Montreal.
Yeah, but they did that, this last year, right? So, Imagine they made a Brady card, just made one, not knowing he was going to be Tom Brady.
That's what I'm saying.
Like John Elway. Like John Elway is in 1984 Oneonta Yankees minor league. Now, it's a minor league card, but it's valuable because it's John Elway and the Yankees, a minor league Yankee uniform, right? So imagine if Brady would have had even like a minor league card before they knew he was going to be obviously what he was on the NFL side of it. So that card would be probably four figures,
Absolutely. All right. What do you have? I got a couple more good ones.
All right, let's see. What do I got? I know, Roberto Clemente died in 73. He has a 73 Topps card, or I would have liked to see, they did a Ken Hubbs kind of memorial, 62 Topps. I would have liked to see, after the plane crash, just the Topps issued, in memoriam card of Roberto Clemente, like as fast as they could do it in a set. There's no Topps now, obviously. So you almost have that, like 73 Topps is his last card, but have a memorial, a memorial in memoriam of Clemente. I think people search the 73 Topps because it's his last card, but it would have been something to have like an in memoriam card, be his last, Topps card, at least that, close to his playing days.
I'm going to go slightly more modern. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Mariano Rivera needs a different rookie card. You know how much I hate that card. Get rid of the khakis and the plates. My dream, the greatest reliever of all time looks like a bad mall ad.
Yeah, but you're not adding the card. You just want a different photo on the card.
I want a whole new card. I just want them to start over. There's nothing appealing.
But it'll still be 92 Bowman. Or are you saying don't make a 92 Bowman, I'm
saying throw away 92 Bowman, go back and make another one in 1992. They should have never let that card out. Greatest reliever in history.
That card bothers you more than it bothers.
I can't stand it.
I like it.
Couple good comments. Like they did for Campy.
Yep.
Yep.
They didn't do a Munson. Let's put
that's
that
why
one.
I'm catching up here.
Munson Clemente, and they've done these before. Like they did the Ken Hubbs from the Cubs comes to mind. The other one they've done a few other ones. So
Ruben says the Topps make a Munson memorial card in 1980.
They didn't. The 79 is his last one. So.
And ironically, Stuke says the 94 Topps traded Mariano is on a multiplayer rookie.
And it's like $1. It's not really, it's not really, depends who you talk to. Most people don't consider that 94 as rookie.
Gil Hodges, Mookie says his 1972 Apici, deceased April 2nd, 1972 on the card. So,
yeah, it would have been nice to see, a Munson and Clemente sort of just to kind of, unfortunately, kind of close their book and pay some respects in an issued set, right? Like, hey, because if those planes don't crash, their careers are still going.
I wonder if it had to do with the estate and the use of the image and.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
I don't know either, but it would have been nice to see.
Yeah.
All right. I said Mariano's parents. It's your turn.
All right. This one's a little off the grid. I don't think this will be on too many other people's lists. When I was doing my list earlier today, I put this on there because I just didn't want to be all chalk, which I sometimes can be because it's easy to do.
Right.
But one of my favorite baseball movies, or movies just period, is The Natural. And everyone knows Robert Redford, Roy Hobbs, right? It would have been nice to see like a Topps Roy Hobbs card the year or the following year that movie came out, where whether they made it an insert card or, however they did it, or just make it a regular base card, make it the last card, 792. You know what I mean? I would have loved to see a Roy Hobbs card during, when the movie was that was out, not like 20 years. Like they made the Sandlot subset in like Heritage the 1 year, but it was 20 years after the movie, right?
And the Sandlot was not nearly as good.
Well, it depends who you talk to. There's people that, I like the movie, but The Natural for me, like I love that movie. Just, being a baseball kid and baseball guy, and he'd be, the Wonder Boy bat, the hitting shots into the lights and it raining down of phosphorus, so that movie, like if I'm channel surfing, I've seen that movie obviously double-digit times. If I'm channel surfing, I run into that, and it don't matter what stage of the movie it's in, man, we just got even uglier. It doesn't even matter if the movie's almost over, I'll stop and watch the rest of it, no matter what part of the movie it's on. So imagine like a Roy Hobbs card for people who like the movie anyway. And they did that. They did that with Mr. 300 and Tom Selleck and Frank Thomas card. That was Upper Deck. But Topps has done stuff. They made a George. It's very rare. They made a George Bush, the first president card from his Yale playing days. I thought it would have been cool. I know it's a fictional character played by Robert Redford, but imagine like a Roy Hobbs card. And when I say Roy Hobbs, they do it like as if he was like real.
Sure.
Know what I mean? It's a gimmicky card, but with the premise like if he actually was a real player.
It'd be cool because then you get Robert Redford to sign it, and Robert Redford's cool. So
yeah. That was off the grid. That was one of my off the grid picks. I
like that one. I thought you were going to go more off the grid than that.
Well, I got another one that is more off the grid than that. I'll wait till.
Well, I've got. How about a Reggie Jackson in an Orioles uniform? Reggie Jackson.
How long was he there? I know he played there. That's
an
not
entire season, 1976, the whole year.
But his 77 Topps card is
a Yankee.
Why is there's got to be a? I don't know the answer to that. What
my understanding is that he was already with the Yankees when they did the cards, so they wanted to have the most up to date information.
Yeah.
What do you want me to? He played 134 games for the Orioles in 76, 558 plate appearances, 500 at bats.
Is he's on the Orioles on some of the like oddball sets? So like
but not on Topps.
No, I know, but he's like I have like there's a 79 Crane disc, which are the round. There's Pepsi disc. They're all the same photo. And they just something you'd never see today.
Well, they put out supposedly an unreleased, they call it, I think, an error card that has the Orioles hat on him and has the Orioles written in. But there's different stories about why that wasn't released and what happens. If anybody knows more about the Reggie with the Orioles and Yankees in 76 and 77, I'd love to know more about that. But he played a whole year in Baltimore, and there's no card for it. So I'm going to call BS on Topps on that one.
Yeah. So there's your answer from Ruben. Those. Remember when they did those team cards?
Yep.
He's in the team photo. When I was a kid, those team cards I used to rubber band my cards by teams.
Mm-hmm.
So we did, and those team cards were on top. So that's how I knew what the team was.
But the team cards were always different because they were always taken like in spring training.
Yeah.
So you'd have by the end of the season.
Early in the season.
Yeah. By the end of the year, it'd be like half correct.
Yeah. But no one knows because the photo was so blurry. It's not like you could pick out your favorite player.
True that. All right, go ahead. I feel like you're going really weird on this one.
Well, I got two more. One's really off the grid and one's not as much. Which one you want first, or you want me to save?
Go off the reservation.
All right. So everyone knows I love this guy. I'll try to do a little tease lean up to rather than blurt it out. And this guy's a musician, and he's played lots of stadiums back in his heyday and even still. And Yankee in Shea Stadium, he's played, more than once. And multiple times. He's a baseball fan in his own right. I would have loved to seen, I know I have his 1980 Panini Smash hits. I would have liked to seen a Topps Billy Joel card in one of their sets in the 90s or even the 80s. I don't know if we would have got one in the 80s because he was big, but he didn't really get super huge. Where he probably would have been, where Topps would even consider making a card. So 1990s Billy Joel Topps issued card, rather than the Panini Smash Hit sticker, which I love. It's behind me, and I love it. But a Topps
Mickey
card.
says that John didn't start the fire.
Well, the funny thing is, you see people burning their junk wax era cards in the fire. It would have been I wouldn't have signed up for this, but it would have been interesting, those people burning those junk wax era cards, if there was a Topps Billy Joel card, if they would have made that card, would have been into the fire. And then technically he did start the fire. You see how I brought that like all the way back?
That's brought to you by Crown Royal.
It is, and it's gone.
Oh, well done. And here you go. Stu says, I have a Burton Cummings from the Guess Who Pro Set hockey card. I've actually seen him sing the Canadian anthem at a hockey game.
There you go.
Christy Brinkley started the fire. Yeah.
She also put it out.
I was about to say, Uptown Girl was
which is, by the way, we're not to make this Billy Joel night at Card Mensches, but Danny knows this. If you ask me what my least favorite Billy Joel song is, that's the answer. Uptown. Not a huge fan of that song. It's one. If I hear a Billy Joel song on the radio, I'm not changing it. Sometimes I'll keep it on, and sometimes if it's Uptown Girl, I'm just like, I don't want to hear it, and I'll change a Billy Joel song. So that'll tell you what I think it is.
Mookie, bonus points for a shout out to Clark Griswold and Christy Brinkley. All right. What's your last one?
You want me to close it out?
Yeah, go for
it. All right,
it.
I'll tease this one a little bit too, just for suspense wise. He does have a card the year I'm going to talk about, but he doesn't have it in this line, this release. And this release is a 4-figure box sealed now without him in it. But had he been in this set, it was his rookie year. It would have been his rookie. So how about a 93 finest, right? The first year finest baseball. We know the refractors bring big money, even like common refractors because they're rare. Imagine a Derek Jeter 1993 finest and then finest refractor. We talk about the SP rookie, which is an iconic card. I'm not a huge Jeter guy, but you can't argue, with the foil, and it's hard to get a super great grade on it. But I love 93 finest. I try to pick some up like when I can. Those refract. I mean, you could have a Dave Hollins refractor, and it might cost you 3 figures. Can you imagine? And the stars are, even bigger money. Can you imagine a Derek Jeter finest rookie refractor? What the number, the amount those would go for? So, as Mookie knows, Bobby Bonilla is two bad words to Mets fans. And I was hoping when Cohen bought the team, he would just pay out Bonilla and be done with it. Like, just give him the rest of the contract so we don't have to have the Bobby Bonilla day every year. We can take that off the calendar. It's not on my calendar, but take it off everyone else's that like to make fun of the Mets.
Yeah, I don't think they're allowed to pay him early without him renegotiating and agreeing to it.
Well, listen, he's not. What is he? Got to be close to 60 years old.
Yeah,
it's like winning the lottery. You can take the payments each year, or you can just take the lump sum. If I'm Bobby Bonilla, I'm calling up Cohen and say, hey, let's just work out a deal on a lump sum and buy out this.
Yep, and tomorrow morning on Hobby Hotline, it's Orlando, Uncle Rich, and somebody else.
Adam Palmer.
No, I don't know. Who's the third one tomorrow?
It's Adam Palmer, I'm pretty sure.
It is Adam Palmer, I'm right. Okay. That's a good trio.
I mean, just think. I don't like Derek Jeter that much.
That would be a cool card. I'll admit it would be a cool card.
Just think a 93 finest Derek Jeter, a refractor, even a regular car, like crazy bucks. Not that it's about I love.
I know it's not about the money. I agree with you.
But that would be a cool looking card too.
Adam Palmer, no relation to Jim Palmer. Not sure about that. I'd have to ask him. No relation to
Rich Klein. no relation to Richard Klein.
No, who's much funnier, by the way. He's a good comedian. I like him.
No, but Rich Klein, our Rich Klein,
Is
his boxer. So he's got that going for him.
And Rich, we know you're going to listen to this. We love you, buddy.
Not anymore. This will be the last episode that he listens.
Uncle Rich has a better card show. He does. Absolutely. All right. Well, on Card Mentions, we should talk about that Uncle Rich helps raise money for charity with his card show. So that's a perfect segue.
Yeah, add at Chevron. I hope I'm saying that right, but I'm pretty close, not 100%. And listen, it goes to the synagogue, it goes to charity, and anytime you can have the greatest hobby in the world aligned with a charity that can benefit from it. What else do I have to say?
Exactly.
That's a Billy Joe line, by the way, and I'm still going on with my Billy Joe, just subliminally now.
Oh, it'll be Billy Joel all weekend now, without a doubt. Well, I can certainly say this has been a day, my friend. But it finished up a lot softer.
And Rich does. That's a good comment from Ruben here. Just the kind of coming out. Rich Klein does have his own Topps card. That is true.
It is, and you can find it in the ComC database.
Richard Klein, the comedian, I do not believe. Don't believe has a Topps card. But you know who has one? You know, has a Bowman card? Christopher Walken as an 11-year-old.
It's so creepy.
You can look, even as a kid, you can tell that's Christopher Walken.
His eyes just follow you.
Danny, look at me as a kid.
His eyes just follow you around the room.
Yeah. Danny, I was a good-looking kid. That's a really terrible Christopher Walken impression.
It's not the worst one you've ever done, if that makes you feel better.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's hilarious.
Katrina in the waves.
Ruben says he's walking on sunshine.
Like Katrina in the waves.
More cowbell. That's what does this show need? More cowbell. That's hysterical. This was fun, buddy.
Yeah, you know when I first went, I'm like, I don't know. There's a lot of chalk in this question, but then I'm like, as I start writing stuff down, and look, I missed some. There was some great suggestions as usual from the chat room where, like, I feel bad. I'm like, how did I not write that? You know what I mean? Like, how did I miss that? So that's the beauty of these kind of shows, is because you add to that list and you realize, like, as much as we might know, there's a lot we still don't.
And as we always
say,
we
forget.
It's the best chat room anywhere.
It is.
As far as knowledge and humor and everything else.
Looks too. Let's give them
and good looks. Well, they have to make up for us, so they look fantastic in the chat room. All right. Say goodnight, John.
Good night, John.